I want to talk about where I came from. I want to talk about my journey of faith. It has not been easy. And let me tell you something. I want you to hit on that subscription button so that you stay updated whenever we are making new videos. So there's a lot that we have talked about, and now guess what? We are in episode 2. A clap for me and a clap for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's going to be a journey, and you're going to enjoy every bit of it. So today we are going to go into a very, very interesting topic. And guess what? I want to talk about the one that has made me to be brave. Yeah, I have been able to be experimented on a 360 angle. Yes, I have been able to get it all. Hello, my beautiful viewer. This is the House of Point, where we say it as it is. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you and feel much welcomed. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Now we are in episode 2, and we are going to talk about a very, very exciting thing that happened to me. Understanding character, it has not been my own making. I have been able to understand characters because they have been experimented in my life. All through my life, since the moment I came to know about who I am. Not leave alone the definition by parents, leave alone the definition by people, but personal understanding of who I am. The moment I came to understand that, I have gone through a lot, my friends. I've gone through a lot. And when I tell you that I'm going to speak about my story, it's because it has not been only me. It has been God in my story. It has been God in my journey. He has anchored me to who I am right now. He has anchored me to all dimensions that you can ever think of. I want to talk about my relationship with my Maker, my relationship with my God. From the beginning, I did not really understand who God was in a very simplified way. It was complex simply because luckily, actually, I grew up in a family that feared God, loved God, and the model of my childhood, I was brought up in church, I was taken to church, brought up in church, and brought up in the ways of God. And it was wonderful because that is what my parents taught me. That is what I was taught in Sunday school. That is what I was taught every Sunday when I went to church. I used to go to Catholic. I'm born and raised in a Catholic family where they follow the belief of Catholic, because if you're not a Christian, in Christianity we have got different denominations. So in this case, I'm talking about Catholics. So I was born and raised in church, and it was wonderful going to Sunday school, singing along with other children, and it was wonderful. I grew up, went through primary school and went through high school, and now in high school, that is where my journey changed, or that is where my Christianity level took another step. I took another step of faith. So going to high school, in Form 1, I was supposed to join the CA. The CA is actually the Christian Association. This is where the Catholics meet and they fellowship in schools. So instead of me joining the CA, I had to join the CU. CU stands for the Christian Union. So the Christian Union, mostly it is found in the Pentecostal churches. So I join CU, and that I go through Form 1 and I go through Form 2. In Form 1, I did not actually understand much about the CU. So through Form 1, I was learning and interacting and keeping myself busy to try and understand what was going on. But it does not mean that I was actually forced to go to CU and leave CA. No, but I made a decision of I needed to understand the Bible better. So this word here, the word of God, growing through Catholic, we used to be the Bible used to be read for us. They used to read this good book for us, and in Catholic they have got additional books. So this Bible has got 66 books. So that is both in the Old the Old and the New Testament. But in CA they have additional Bible sets. So we used to be read the good book on Sundays, every Sunday, and I used to love it because I used to practice what I was taught. But it hit me, why is it that the good book is read to me and personally I do not understand it? What happens? Because growing up in primary, I remember, if I'm not wrong, it was in primary where we were given a small Bible. It used to contain only the New Testament's books only. I don't know the name of that book, that Bible, like a small Bible that we used to be given in schools. You can comment down below. I don't know the actual name. So in short, that is what I used to, that was my life. I used to be read the good book and I had not read it myself. So I went to Form 1 and high school. In high school you get to read a lot, and I was very good in CRE and I loved CRE from beginning. So when I entered Form 1, I used to write notes. In high school, the model of high school and primary, they were totally different, two different things. So here you go deeper. So in CRE, I used to see a lot of Bible verses, and I used to have a Bible, mind you, because in high school, you had to report. It was one of the essentials that you were supposed to go to school with, including the dictionary, Kamusi, and the other books, and also a Bible, because we used to use it. So that is where my love for the Word of God came from. So I needed to understand more about the Word. So I joined the CU. And in CU, that is where I gave my life to Christ. But it did not just come out very easy. What happened? The lead of CU in that church used to be my geography teacher. Wherever he is, shout outs to Mr. Kilonzo. He used to be my geography teacher in that school, and I loved geography. That is in Form 1. And the CU leaders, I used to love how they could come and read the Bible for us during the assembly and interpret it for us and give us some encouragements. I used to love it. So because of Mr. Kilonzo and a certain Bible and a certain CU leader, I fell in love with their personalities and I loved whom they were. And it came to a moment where people were giving their lives to Christ. And I remember them asking, would you like to give, who would like to give their life to Christ? And of course, it was already defined of what giving your life to Christ really meant. And I shoot up my hand. I go in front of the other students. And of course, we went with some other students in front. We were prayed for, we were led through the prayer of faith, and I gave my life to Christ. Let me tell you, I believed it was the best decision that I made in my life. It will shock you thereafter. So I go through Form 1 to Form 4. In the course of my Form 3, I stopped going to Catholic. We used to go to church with my dad. So one day as we were going to church, as we reached a certain junction, I told my dad, no, today I'm not going with you. Today I'm going to PCA. And he asked me why. I told him, there's a friend of mine who has invited me, so let me go to PCA. We will meet later. So dad he said okay. He proceeded on to Catholic, and then I entered PCA. So in the evening, dad I actually never asked why or what really happened. But on Sundays, I will just, we used to live in a setup where my dad will go to work because he was a business person. He will wake up and go open his business, and then I will call him so that we can meet up and go together to church. So there was a meeting point. So as I'm leaving the house, I call him and then I tell him I'm leaving. So he will estimate, and then we meet, and then we go to church. So it reached a moment where I don't call dad anymore. So I just go to church, PCA, daddy goes to Catholic, and that became my journey. My dad never asked. He just told me that he does not want to question my faith. But if that is what I want to do, or that is what I've chosen and seen to be right, then it's okay. He doesn't have a problem with that. Now, the person who had a problem with that was my grandma. So when I went back to Shags, I was supposed to lead some Catholic prayer, the rosary, leading the rosary. So this time I'm not leading the rosary. So the story is long, but my grandma questioned, so how do you live Catholic? How? Because she didn't understand, and there was this word that they used to call the Pentecostal churches, kanisa ya maji mengi. Yes, kanisa ya maji mengi. So here my grandma used to see as if I've just taken myself to more confusion and more confusion. So that being said and done, she had to accept, because I had not diverted, but I had chose where to fellowship. So dear friends, my journey of faith continues, and I finish high school, and after high school, as I'm waiting to enroll in college, I happened to shift, and I got into a new town. So in that new town, I start another life. So during my starting of this life became very hard for me. Life was very tough. That is a story I will share someday. Life became very tough, and somehow I deviated from my walk of faith. I deviated from God. I deviated from the word of God. I deviated. I became a total stranger to church. I never attended any church for reasons I could not even explain to myself. Sundays were the days when I would watch series of movies, because I was a movie lover. I will watch movies, series of movies. During the day, that is the day that I'm doing my cleaning, and that is the day I'm very busy. And life caught up with me. The joys and the excitement of life and freedom from parents became a set that I could not hold up together to make up something that was useful. So my life became so lost. I went into drunkardness. I became drunkard. Not, if I say drunkard, I mean I joined friends, a group of friends, a set of friends, where we could go to parties every now and then. Every weekend there was a party, and there I was introduced to alcohol. I tasted alcohol, and my life became something else. But in the process of it all, I was lost in thoughts. I want you to grab some things that I'm going to tell in this story, because it's something that I don't know how I did it, but I realized myself. Self-realization. I want you to mark this. As I was lost, as I went through partying, as I went through clubbing, it came to a point where I never saw the benefits of alcohol. I never saw the benefit of alcohol. Alcohol was the only drug that I got familiar with. and I did not see the taste of it anymore. And I started questioning myself. What am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? How is it benefiting me? Yes, life is so hard, but it does not mean that I have to waste it all. Yes, life was hard. Yes, I had parents, but I could not go back to them because I was humiliated. I was shameful, embarrassed. So I had to take myself out of this shame, and I had to bring myself back to the place of honor. And that was in it should be 2014, 2015. Yes, 2014, 2015. I was lost and I could not even pray anymore. But God somehow in his special ways, after me deciding to get out of this life that I was living, and mind you, when you have friends around who are leading that life, it is very hard for you to run away by yourself because they are your cycle. These are the people that you surround yourself with every day. They're the people, they're the order of the day. It was not easy. So I started shifting little by little, and my friend, she asked me, so what are you doing? What do you think that you're doing? What do you think that it is that you're doing? I told her this is what I've chosen. I don't want to go to parties anymore, and I don't want to get drunk anymore. And she was mad at me because we used to share a house. She was mad at me, and you know how girls are. We get mad at each other, we don't speak to each other, and there's a lot of things going on. So we started having arguments over why are we doing this. But God showed in a very special way, because God has never left me. In as much as I had decided I'm going to walk away from this, God visited me in his own special way that to this day I remember. Where I had gotten a job, and at my employment place, I had issues with my boss, issues to do with spiritual issues in this case. So my boss happened to be having this side spiritual spiritual things that business people use to boost their business. It was known all over. So the things that she used to do started affecting me, and also my friend, because she knew me and she knew where I was working, the place I was working at. She was actually the person who introduced me to that place, or to that working place. She also started being affected spiritually. So when we used to sleep, the nights were long, and it became a moment where because we used to share a blanket, and she will say that I'm suffocating her. She will wake up in the morning and narrate to me how she dreamt on how I was suffocating her. And now we had to sort out that issue. So we started sleeping in the same bed, using different bed sheets or coverings, because I was suffocating her and I don't want to suffocate her. So we came up with a solution, but she kept on having nightmares, which was spiritual nightmares. She has herself, mind you, she asked me, a moment. She asked me, Stacy, why don't we look for a church? We have not been going to church for the longest time. So why don't we look for a church? And I said, yes, we should. She went ahead and told me there was a very pretty church around her, and I want us to go there. So to her, it was the pretty church, and we went. My first time going to a Pentecostal church, the real Pentecostal church, because not Catholics, but PCA, they have a certain model like the Catholics, where there is a sequence that they follow. Yeah, it is called the Kanisa ya Mutaratara. Kanisa ya Mutaratara. So there's a certain model that they use. So this Pentecostal church, they do their things spiritually, like there's how they do it. I don't know how to tell it, but if you can relate, the better. So we went to this church, and when we entered in that church, what I went home with was the worship. We worshipped because there were screens all over. Remember, back then in churches, screens were not these two screens. They were not things that were normal, not like nowadays where every church they have a screen. Yeah, so there was a screen projecting the songs, and we sang the songs, and there were songs of worship. There were songs that were communicating to me. To cut the long story short, I gave my life to Christ. We gave our lives to Christ. My friend and I, we gave our lives to Christ. And then we went back to our Father's house, the place where we belong. And our life became even simpler. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this to show you that you cannot understand yourself better if you do not have God leading you. If you do not have that supreme being leading you, in this case, my God has been the supreme being that has been leading my life. He has been able to teach me how to love people and how to understand people. And you know what? In this life, everything that I know, or the way I know things, the other person, there is another way they know their own things. And that is how they operate. Everyone interprets things differently. Everyone knows something, and whatever they know, that is right. That is why we will find ourselves in arguments, arguing over something that I'm saying is right, and also you're saying is right. But it is not until we come to an agreement that is when we can be able to get a solution. The Bible continues and says, you cannot argue with a fool, you become a fool. So when you are able to interpret that verse, you will understand that it is not you are arguing, or it is not my bringing up of point and you're bringing up of point that is going to make us to understand each other. At times, I have to calm myself down. In as much as I know I'm wrong, I'm right and you're wrong, I have to calm myself down. In as much as I know that you're right and somehow I feel as if I'm wrong, you're drawing up a point, that argument will go nowhere. So there is no argument for fools. There is no arguing with fools. You will also become a fool. Hello? Are we still together? So let's sip some water as we continue. So this holy book has become my friend, and I read it because this is what God has given me to know Him better. This is what God has given me to interpret who I am and what I've been called for. This word is good, and God communicates to me this way. You remember back in primary, when love letters used to be written and passed through, this is what happens. God wrote these words centuries ago. And these words, they talk about love. and nothing else but love. If I did not know about these words, I will not be in an understanding of what character analysis simply means. I will not be in a point to sit before you and speak about character. I analyze it because I've been taught how. Okay? I've been taught how. I've been taught how. I've been taken through the journey. I've learned. I've not learned only in the good or in the simplest way. I've learned it in the hardest ways. And let me take you now to where my faith again is going to be shaken really hard. And let's find out, did I stand or did I fall back? So this good friend of mine, she was a friend. Somehow we separated in the most horrific way possible. And I was taken through a road that I never expected I will ever go. I was taken through a road that only me understood it and no one understood it. I was taken through a road that I had to stay away from my family for a period of probably half an year. No communication because the situations were pressing. Or in a period of approximately not less than half an year or more than half an year, I went away from the place that I called home to a foreign land, to a place I never thought of. But God landed me there. But you see, when I was going there, I didn't know what I was called for. But I went. And let me tell you something. I was framed for a crime I had never committed. A crime I could only trace of its existence, but I could not tell how I got myself in that situation. Being a victim of circumstance, running away, finding a place to shed, finding shelter. I go to this new land where I know no one. I only knew one person, the person who hosted me, and everyone else was a stranger to me. But God was not a stranger to me. God, in his mysterious ways, he walked me through that land. He sent me angels. People are called to help us. God will send angels on your behalf. Because in life, you cannot do it alone. You have to cooperate with people. You have to live with people. God taught me the value of strangers, people I never knew of. They held my hand. They walked me through a journey. And my life again got back into place. In short, I'm saying that my journey of faith has not been simple. It has been with a lot of lessons. But what I've done, I've been able to understand the lessons. I've been able to draw lessons from all of them. And as I speak to you, I want to tell you that there is nothing that is impossible. Today you do not know your direction. Today probably you are confused in your situation, in your current situation. Call upon God. Call upon God. He will come through for you. He will come for your case. He will rescue you. My story is no longer the same. My story has been changed because I have understanding. I have understanding. I have understanding of how to live with people. Remember, people are of different characters and we have to embrace them all. Learn your way, walk your way, and know the people that you're supposed to go with and the people you're supposed to leave behind, because you have to leave others behind for you to go forth. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment down below. If there is something that has communicated to you, share with us. Do not forget to subscribe, to like. It was nice having you. See you in the next episode. Bye.